What I'd like to do over the course of my presentation, and I'll talk for about 30 to 45 minutes, is really to make an argument about the nature and construction of world-class performance. I want to talk about the processes through which excellence is ingrained. I want to talk about what coaches can do to accelerate the learning process when it comes to skill, or in the case of education, knowledge. And I want to take aim at the pervasive and seductive idea in the world today, a very deeply entrenched notion that world-class performance is fundamentally about natural talent.
Really very interesting, very inspiring, absolutely fantastic to have such high calibre people to listen to, and I think it really encapsulated what we've then sort of learnt subsequently over the weekend. So there's been a lot of thought into the keynote speakers and then marrying that up with the rest of the programme.
It's excellent. I mean, I think that it follows on completely and seamlessly from everything that we heard on Friday from Matthew's side. I think Guernsey is extremely well placed to take on the principles of, and already does so much of it, that I think that we can all learn from it, and I'm sure will affect our practice, which is the most important thing.
We tend to, as coaches, often default to a telling style, but the research has shown that there's more learning taking place and more retention of what you've learnt for longer if the athlete that we're working with actually understands what they're doing and really owns the process and owns their learning. So it's all around that.
The involving style really had a big impact on me. I'm very much of the traditional coaching style of tell people what my way of would be to do something. So yeah, asking them how they feel when they're doing it and getting them to respond and sort of self-analyse is hopefully going to make a big impact on the way I change, the way I coach. So that's probably the biggest thing I'll take.
If there was one take-home message that you want the individuals that turned up to your workshop today to take away, what would it be?
I think it would be very much to think about themselves first, maybe, and to try and understand their own way that they've got to the success that they may have got to, and to look at the individuals and the young people that they're working with and they're coaching, and try to help to develop and foster a growth mindset in those young people.
We had a look through the different types of mindsets, so growth and fixed mindset, looking at people's beliefs and challenging the way in which people were thinking at the moment, and it was really interesting, so learnt a lot from it.
And it sort of underlined most of what we're already doing, but also pulled up on a few things that we need to do.
Okay, are there any take-home messages that you're going to put straight in towards your netball coaching when you go away today?
Definitely I'm going to be telling them what they're eating, drinking, and keep away from the alcohol.
Well, it's aided my understanding for nutrition with my AS Level PE course that I'm doing at the moment at Grammar Sixth Form. What else it taught me? Well, it's taught me about a lot about diet and how it can help me with my sport and like preparation for things like interventionals and netball. With injury and stuff, it's really interesting, like the psychological side as well of it, and actually mentally preparing yourself for it, like going back into intense sports.
This gets the brain ticking over again, shall we say. Even though you might be doing a lot of it already, it just gives you a new slant on how to put these things into practice and how to build on them.
It's like putting a spanner in the works to what we believe, and about changing it and developing our coaching, which I think will really make a step forward, especially in fencing, which is the sport we're coaching at now. And for me, as a new coach and a competitor, I'm trying to be as sponge-like as possible, and so taking in all these ideas is very promising for me, I hope.
They are brilliantly enlightening, and I've also learnt a lot about how to deal with parents and how their thoughts influence their children. That was key for me, because we deal with a lot of younger children whose parents come and watch the games. That's probably what I'm going to take, one of the key points I'm going to take from this session.
From the workshop I worked out that maybe I am a coach that tells people what to do rather than asking the players what can you do to improve, and maybe I'm going to try and take that back into my coaching sessions now and see what comes from it.
Yeah, it was really good, and it was a really nice environment because everyone was prepared to talk, and you had a lot of people's experiences from their own sport. Like we had a marathon runner in there, we had a squash player, we had us netballers. we had cricket as well, so it was really like nice wide variety of sports as well, and everyone was prepared to speak. It was really good.
It showed up quite a few of the things that we probably at grassroots level wouldn't always think about or give respect to. So for me, it's a bit of rethinking, and then hopefully build that into the coaching that I use for the future.
I think it's really valuable. I mean, what we say to children has a massive influence on how they perceive their ability, their sport, their motivation, what they're going to do next. And I think most people as teachers and coaches probably say things without actually thinking about it. And I know for my own children, you always ask them how they've got on, and that references whether you won or lost, and the next question is, did you score? And actually those things aren't the most important when you're trying to get children to sort of develop and learn skills and take ownership of their own learning. So I think, you know, today's session was brilliant, and hopefully we'll roll it out in, you know, lots of different sports.
A wonderful opportunity to meet a lot of people, talk through the different challenges and the great things that are happening in Guernsey sport, look at how potentially as a commission we can support sports going forward. But I think overall I think it's been quite a satisfying weekend. Certainly Saturday night, sort of went to bed quite happy, kind of turned the light out thinking actually what a great sort of thing to be involved in, what a great group of people we've got, and actually how much potential there is in the island. And actually not only is there a lot of potential, but I think we're well on the way to realising that potential because of some great people and a kind of real desire for people to improve and get better.